Hi guys, Ginger Bandine here with another Data Fun Friday. Today I thought we would look at financial data because it's the time of year when a lot of agencies are thinking about how their budget is looking. There might be some conversations about decisions that need to be made. And so I thought looking at some data visualization that could help you understand what might be happening with your finances and where you might target interventions if you're needing to do things to keep your doors open would be something we could talk about. Since keeping your doors open is also part of your mission. So, it's part of making it possible for you to fulfill your mission. So here we have just a visualization I made in Power BI looking at insurance paid amounts year over year. This is a data set that is just 2 years worth of data. And I just thought I'd use this as an example to show you a little bit about how the different types of drill downs work in Power BI, because I think they can be really powerful, in particular with this kind of data. So there's two kinds of drill downs. There's this drill down that is shaped like a fork, and that works just like a regular drill down you'd be used to in other types of data sets, where you can start with the big picture, then you can go down to the quarter, you can go down to the month, you can even go all the way down to the day. Works just kind of like you normally think of a drill down. But the other really powerful drill down is this double arrow. What that does is it compares year over year the data, so that you can see here in this data set, there's historically for 2 years in a row now been kind of a dip in revenue or insurance paid in the first quarter of the year. A little bit starts to rebound in the second quarter of the year, and then it gets highest in the fourth quarter of the year. So that's kind of interesting. If you look at it by month, and this is really common in community behavioral health, that there's a lot of variation, and that's one of the reasons why it's not always good to look at data from 1 month to the next, because there's some natural trends that happen. Programs are more active sometimes during the school year, sometimes not during the school year. Holidays and vacations have an impact. And so if you just compare 1 month to the next, you might miss trends, or it might look like there's a trend between those 2 months, but really it's just the normal trend that happens every year. So you can see here there's some normal trends in this data that are happening every year, where particularly January, February is a really low month, December is a lot lower than November, and so on. A lot of community mental health agencies, the data will have kind of a dip in July and August, so I'm kind of surprised in this data set it's a little higher. And then if you go one more layer down, this shows you that there's some kind of service in this data set that's probably getting recorded that's like a monthly service that's always hitting on the first of the month. So seeing such a big increase in service paid or insurance paid on one day of the month probably means there's a service in there that's just happening on the first. And it might be worth looking at if you were doing an analysis of this data set. You might want to figure out what service that is and then exclude it from these visualizations, because it might be skewing your data a little bit. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was the type of visualization that can be useful. So this is showing you proportions really nicely, and it's also showing you the overall changes in amounts. You can also use a stacked bar chart that will do a percent of the total, which can be useful for drilling down too if you wanted to look at trends, like to really see variations in the proportion of services for different payers. And then another type of chart that can be really useful for seeing trends over time visually is a line chart, because our eyes can kind of follow the line and see and visualize that data. So this shows you like there's one particular payer that's got, or a few particular payers that are really responsible for this big bump in services from quarter one to quarter two, and you could see that more clearly in this visualization. And it's even more obvious here in the monthly one. It gets pretty confusing if you go down one more level. Woo! But it can be useful to look at lines versus bars. That can be helpful. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about visualizations, because I think sometimes when we're asking board members or clinical managers or other folks like that to look at data related to financials, we're presenting them with kind of a big page full of numbers, and nobody's brain is great at seeing numbers in a big page and then interpreting that into trends or noticing patterns or changes. and visualizations really help with that. So that's what I thought we would look at today. Let me know if you have any thoughts or comments, and you can put those in the comment box. If you would like to know more about what I do, you can check out my website, which is missiondrivendata.com, or you can email me at ginger@missiondrivendata.com. I hope you guys are having a good weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, thanks. Bye.